Hello, welcome to Crypto News. Today is June 12th, 2025, and here are the top cryptocurrency news stories. And we're off to Ukraine, where the cryptocurrency reserve bill is moving forward in parliament. This bill will allow the National Bank of Ukraine to acquire cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. Moving on from Ukraine, we're off to the US, and we're looking at the stablecoin genius bill. Basically, we learned that it has been approved and is moving forward in the US Senate, so if things go well, it could become law. And from this stablecoin bill, which we've been saying is all the rage lately, we're also moving on to a US state, Connecticut. Connecticut voted to ban the use of cryptocurrencies in government. Specifically, Connecticut lawmakers unanimously passed a bill that prohibits state and local government agencies from receiving payments in cryptocurrencies, holding cryptocurrencies, and all that. So I don't know if that will hold them back in the future. And from the US, we'll go to our ETFs, but not Bitcoin ETFs, to Ethereum ETFs, which on July 10th had a total inflow of $125 million. According to this article, that was the best day in 4 months, please. Whereas Ethereum ETFs, let's say, are very close to closing 20 consecutive days of positive inflows. So institutional investors are definitely looking at ETH very favorably in the last few days. Moving on from our ETFs, let me tell you that the SEC rejected DeFi Development's plan to buy Solana for $1 billion, please. The reason was some deficiencies found in the documents. So in very simple terms, they just need to refile their documents more properly in order to get approval. From the SEC, we'll also go to Circle, where we learned that its stock rose because USDC, which is Circle's stablecoin, was extended to World Chain, which is the chain that we're looking at. Let's say Circle's stock rose 10% on that move. Next, for our companies, let me tell you that there's a company that doesn't want to invest in Bitcoin, but wants to invest in Fetch. Specifically, Austin, Texas-based Interactive Strength is taking a different tack and is investing up to $500 million to buy the Fetch.ai coin, please. Let's say that these coins will be purchased gradually over the next 12 months, as far as we understand, and there will be some integration into their products. Let's say that Fetch AI didn't react at all to this news. Moving on from Fetch, we'll also move on to Polygon, which is taking some of the decentralization out of the equation in order to move faster. Specifically, we learned that Polygon co-founder Sandeep Nailwal, who we learned in previous episodes was going to leave Polygon, has now taken full control of the Polygon Foundation as its first CEO. This move marks a shift from the decentralized governance model the organization had adopted. The foundation, which oversees Polygon Labs and other systems, will now be fully controlled under this man's leadership as it tries to redefine its focus amid increasing competition in the Layer 2 space. That is, there are too many Layer 2 solutions. Polygon in particular is certainly feeling the competition at its price. So at the expense of decentralization, perhaps a more centralized system that can make more immediate decisions will help Polygon get back on its feet. Moving on from the latest news about Polygon, we also move on to Ethereum, which continues to have internal conflicts. The Ethereum Foundation had a falling out with the head of the Geth team regarding repeated offers of up to $5 million in internal funding from customers. Geth is essentially the most popular client for Ethereum. It is essentially a node software that manages transaction execution and oversees the operation of the Ethereum blockchain. That is, through this account, transactions are made for Ethereum, so it is a very important account. Let's say that its founder accuses the Ethereum Foundation of restricting this account to secretly support a separate application called Nethermind, which is the second most popular. As for which account Ethereum users use, let's say that the Ethereum Foundation rejects plans to gradually cancel Geth, but there are concerns about decentralization and corruption within the Ethereum Foundation, so internal conflicts seem to be holding up well. Moving on to our favorite cryptocurrency market, Bitcoin is at $108,000 with the price entering our support zone, although we have positive news in the market in general. First, let's say that inflation in the US came in exactly at the numbers they want, 2.4%. Despite all this, in 6 days, Mr. Powell, 99.8% certainty, we will not have any interest rate cuts. In addition to interest rates, we also have news from the President of the United States, who seems to have made a deal with China. As the President of the United United States said, the deal with China is complete, and all that remains is for the final signatures to be made to be 100% valid by the President of China and the President of the United States. According to Trump, he said that we will receive a total of 55% and China will receive 10%. Our relations are excellent. So based on the fact that the final signatures are going to be made, China signed an agreement with the United States. That wraps up the top news for crypto today. Is June 12th, 2025. I'd like to remind you that the content you just watched is created for educational purposes only and should not be considered as investment advice, but rather as investment opinion. Please subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and feel free to comment. Take care, everyone, and have a good day.